name is Chris Anderson. I'll be hosting our Instagram Live today. When I'm not hosting Instagram Live, I'm helping consumers answer questions about our Hormel Foods products. And since this is my first gig as an Instagram host, lending a hand to consumers is pretty much what I do most of the time. So joining me today is Master Chef Ron DeSantis. When he's not sharing basic kitchen skills with Instagram followers, he's living life as a culinary rock star who also happens to enjoy hanging out with people like me. Let's get Ron in here with us here in just a second. Let me invite him in. There we go. Hello, Ron.
Hey, I'm checking that I got a little technical thing. I'm getting right in here.
Perfect. We can see your face. We had a great shot of the pans before. Now we get to see your face too.
Good. For me, important are the pans.
That's true. All right. Well, folks, if you're not familiar with Ron, this is certified master chef Ron DeSantis. He is one of 68 certified master chefs in the world. He has more than 30 years of experience in the culinary arts, including having served as a cook in the U.S. Marines. He taught and consulted at the renowned Culinary Institute of America. He served as culinary director at Yale University, and he also acted as private chef to U.S. presidents. So today, Chef Ron owns and runs the consulting firm Culinary NXT, where he advises some of the world's largest companies and brands serving the food service space. And today, Ron is going to share some kitchen basics with us. So I'll let you take it away, Ron.
Well, thanks, Chris. And can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Oh, good, good. Everybody, I'm going to jump into cooking in just a second. And, the thing about kitchen basics, I'm a certified master chef because I really, really believe and practice the fundamentals, the basics in the kitchen. And you practice them, you do them again and again. You take a test, and if you do okay, you give you a title, right? But joking aside, it's really those basics that help you to get there. So basically, what we're going to do in the basics today are three things. I'm going to talk about and demonstrate boiling vegetables, boiling pasta, and how do you get good caramelization, great browning on ground meat. So those are those things. And as you see, this is, real home stove, nothing, no kitchen, no professional kitchen setting. But one of the other things you got to have decent pots and pans. Got to have that. You have to have some decent pots and pans. So first thing is boiling. So, and I'm going to move right into here. Right now, I already have my pot going. This is the pot of boiling water. And I'm going to do these, look at this. Isn't that nice?
Beautiful.
There you go. Broccoli. Keep it straightforward. Do some broccoli. So here, rapidly boiling water. So on this one, rapidly boiling water, what I like to do is I need some salt in there. And you're looking at it and say, it's a lot of salt. Well, it's a lot of water, too. Okay?
Is that a tablespoon that you have there, Ron?
Excuse me?
Was that a tablespoon?
It was a tablespoon. And my rule on this, and before I tell you about the rule, I'm going to put the broccoli in. Let's come back to the salt in a second, just because we want to make sure it's cooked. So when I add the broccoli, what we want to do is don't overcrowd the pot. That's just enough broccoli to get in there. I'm going to put the lid back on. I want the boil to come back very quickly. So that'll come back in just a moment. We'll get to it. But what I wanted to talk about, as I said, the salt. When you think about when you're dealing with the salt, 1 quart, 1 tablespoon. Now, there's some ground rules on that. When we talk about that, the salt I'm using is Diamond Crystal Kosher salt. It has a certain size and it fills up that tablespoon a certain amount. Okay. If you use a finer salt, if you use a table salt, you might need less because you're going to pack a lot more salt into that tablespoon.
Okay, that makes
If you have
sense.
a coarser salt, you might back off a little bit. So you have to experiment.
Hmm.
Use that particular one. A tablespoon on a quart gives you just the right. It's just slightly salty, the water. And what happens with that? Couple things. Number one, it brightens the flavor, that brightens the color of
Okay.
the vegetable, and it makes sure that flavor is accentuated. It heightens the flavor of it as well. So I just put that lid on there, and there we go. We're back to the boil. Now I'm going to take it off.
Okay.
I take it off because I don't want to forget that's in the pot.
We've been there. I've scraped clean some pans in my time. All right. So what heat do you have your stove set on right now?
So it's a great question. So this one is high heat,
Okay.
at a rapid boil. And the reason that I want to go on a rapid boil with this is that for green vegetables, I want the cooking time to be as short as possible. So I want to keep the cooking time really short. That's why I raise the heat on this, let them boil quickly, and then we remove them from from this. Now, but at some point you got to first see, is it ready to come out of there? When is it done?
Hmm.
But there's only one real way to tell if food is done.
Okay.
You eat it.
I can.
So and how long this goes, that's your personal preference. How soft or how firm, or you want it crisp, you want it soft. That's what you do to get the right doneness on this. So they're just boiling away. Now, here's one of the cool things about this. Now, the color on that, I mean, look how bright that is.
That's beautiful.
I mean, it's just gorgeous. This is absolutely beautiful food. And it's simply broccoli. So I'm going to let this go for another minute.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do a quick little taste to see if that's a doneness where I want it.
Sounds good. So that
And
getting beautiful vegetables is going to be really helpful. I've got a 1-year-old that I've got to set a good example for. So I feel like, yeah, in a couple years here, those beautiful looking greens are going to be helpful.
well, they always are. And if you start them out young, they'll love it right away.
Hmm.
So right here, and this one, that's perfect.
Perfect. How long was that in there? Would you say like a couple minutes?
Probably like 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay.
So
Because
here,
yeah, I
I'm going to take these out. Now you can do one of two things. You could take these and you could serve them immediately. All you need to do if you're going to serve them immediately is put a little bit of olive oil or butter or any seasoning you like on them,
okay.
and you can serve them. Or you put them on a sheet tray like this and you let them cool down.
Hmm.
Then you can put them away. So now, anytime you want to have some charred broccoli, you throw them in a hot pan later on and you get your broccoli going right away. Otherwise, look at this. A little bit of olive oil on here, and this is ready to go. This is good to eat as is right now. That's as simple as that was. That's, and so that's that sort of secret
Hmm.
to great cooked vegetables. Salted water, rapid boil, cook them only till they're just done. Take them out, serve them, or hold them later, and you can reheat them. Now,
Excellent.
here's the
Um,
next thing. So that water's boiling. The
mhm.
only thing that was in there was some broccoli. My pasta's going right in here.
Oh, nice.
I
Well, that
like, and if you think about it, pasta and broccoli, it's a good combination. So now I've got this water. I'm going to let this go. And, part of the reason I'm doing this one is because same thing with pasta. You set the timer. Let me set a timer.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if we'll make it to the end of it, but if we do, that's great. But you have to think about it. It's the same thing. You want to cook the pasta until it's just done. And how do you know it's just done? You eat it.
Eat it.
So it's at a rapid boil. When you put this in the pot, give it a stir.
Okay.
Be sure that it doesn't stick together.
Mm-hmm. Ron, are we going to notice that the broccoli was in there? If we tried the pasta plain, will we be able to pick up any of that flavor?
Yeah, it can, because now you got to think about this. You got a little bit of broccoli flavor in there.
Mm-hmm.
Water's got that, so the pasta will pick that up. It's got the right amount of salt in there. Absolutely delicious. Now, questions sometimes come up. Do you add oil to the water?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, generally for me, I never add oil to the water.
Okay.
Think about it. Where's the oil when you put it in the pot?
Up at the top.
On the top. Where's the pasta? It's on the bottom. So the action of the boil is what prevents the pasta from sticking together. That mechanic boiling prevents the pasta from sticking together.
Okay.
When I drain it, once it's drained, that pasta, everything's running off of it. Let it drain. If you give it a rinse, depending on when you're going to use it, afterward, a little bit of oil and good flavored oil, that gives you what you want.
All right.
This is going to boil now for that another 7 minutes or so, and we'll check it in just a little while. So nothing we can do with this one anymore right now. It has to just...
So somebody actually wrote in a question about vegetables. They said, what's the difference between boiling and steaming, and is one preferred over the other?
Great question. Great question. So boiling is the vegetable is submerged in the water. Okay. There are steaming baskets. So you would put it above the boiling water, and you would put a lid on, and this beautiful hot steam that's coming off, that's what would cook that vegetable. It would surround the vegetable with that superheated steam, and then you get that doneness. Is one better than the other? You know, I mean, you could argue that if you put it in the water, you're leaching out some of the nutrients. But if you don't overcook it and it's bright green, probably most of the nutrients are in there. But I think that steaming would probably give you maybe a slightly higher nutrient value. Possibly. Yeah.
So if I don't have a steaming basket, is there a DIY way to get it done without that tool?
Well, yeah. If you have a colander that's small enough, you can put a colander in there. You know, it's got to be heat resistant or metal. You can put a colander on it and try to put a lid on there. You can do those things. Microwaves, they steam basically that way too. So you can use microwaves to get there. But, you know, those are the ways that you do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to be right in here now. Can you see that pan?
I can see most of it.
All right. Let me move you back just a little bit.
That sounds good. All right, there we can get a good view of the pan.
Okay, so this thing has been heating up while we were talking. And one of the tips that I always do is when I start cooking, before I start cutting and prepping, I put my pan on and I put it on low heat.
Okay.
Well, because then I'm sure it's going to be somewhat hot and it's not going to take too long. So
that's not holding up the whole show to...
Exactly. All right, so this one's been heating up. Now, stainless steel pan, you can use non-stick, that's fine. So on this pan, I'm just going to heat it up, and just a little bit, I'm going to put some oil in there. Before I get there, okay, if you go and get your ground turkey, it probably looks like that. Looks nice, doesn't it?
I like that.
Yeah, that looks really good. You know, it's beautiful. The thing about it is, looking like that is great in the package. It's not good for cooking.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we need to do something with this. And a lot of times, you know, you know, people are guilty, and I've been guilty of it. You take it like it is, you drop it in the pan, and you try to break it up.
Yep.
Couple
Yeah, it's like coming out of that Genio tray, it looks beautiful, and yep, I've definitely just tossed it right in.
couple things happen. So what I did is I busted it up. And
Ah,
here it is. I'm just breaking this up into random size pieces. What
okay.
happens with that is when I put it into the pan, I already start to get, it's random, I get better caramelization right away. I'm not breaking it apart. I'm dropping it in there to get that really, make it sear right away. That's really, really important to get that searing right away. So
Okay.
that's for me step one on this. I like to break these things up before I put it in the pan.
Excellent.
If I do this, I can control how much I put in the pan because you only want enough in the pan to cover the bottom. If you overcrowd the pan, you'll draw moisture out. You will not get the caramelization, the browning that we all love when
Mm-hmm.
we have meats. All right, so this one's going to be right here. I'm going to first season it just a little. This is a little bit of that kosher salt that's going on there. I'm going to put some black pepper on this thing as well. Okay, and then from there, extra virgin olive oil. I like the flavor of it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's smoking.
Yeah, we can see that.
All right, that amount of smoke is good. If it's
Okay.
building blue smoke, you're in trouble. But what happens is, because this is hot, I'm going to be quiet so you can hear this. Can you hear that?
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Now, the other thing is, Chris, I'm not touching it. Leave it alone. This will brown without me doing anything.
Okay.
Once I add that amount of meat to it, it lowers the temperature of the pan. I need to give it time to recuperate. And by not moving them, I get good browning in those spots.
Okay.
I get less moisture drawing out of it. So this ends up being a really, really important step right here, that I allow the temperature to come back, let it get nice and hot. And once that happens, I'm going to take a quick look here.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you can see some nice browning on that good sear.
I don't know. Can you see this?
Yeah,
I don't know where that is.
that
All
looks
right, now
really good.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and yep, I'm normally guilty. I put the whole slab in and I'm breaking it apart and playing with it right away, like after that temperature is dropped, like you said. So I'm missing out on a lot of that.
Yeah, and there's always time to break it up later.
Mm-hmm.
But this helps get a lot of surface area brown. Now, this was medium-high heat.
Okay.
Pretty hot. This is pretty hot. So once I've got this meat browned and it's working nicely, at this point I can do whatever I need to do with that.
Okay.
So on this one, I'm going to let it go just a little bit more. Pasta is almost ready to go here too.
All right. So,
And I'm going to turn this into a taco filling.
oh, excellent. So we had a question come in with the ground meat. How long does that need to cook? Like, how do you know when it's done? Because the person confessed that they tend to overcook it.
Yeah. So here's the thing: if you have pieces like this, you want to make sure, if you have any larger pieces,
Mm-hmm.
that you break them. Make sure there's nothing pink inside.
Okay.
At 160 degrees is very, very important to get there. Um, Maybe a little hotter than that. Uh, but I'm not going to use it immediately. I'm going to put some other items in here. I mean, this is
Okay. Now, I recently learned a trick. I used to not know how do I check the temperature on ground meat. But somebody told me that I can put it in like a small bowl or a little like a little ramekin and use the meat thermometer there with a little bit of the meat. Is that
Yeah, if I take a piece like this, or maybe one of the larger ones like this, I can get a meat thermometer in there. I can
okay?
check that. All right, but this stuff is completely cooked right now. Now, the other thing, I'm gonna try to get this up here.
Okay.
You see all these little stuff, this brown?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is flavor right here. This
Mm-hmm.
is absolute beautiful flavor. So you saw that cook very quickly.
Yeah.
I got a little mix here that I like to use for tacos.
Okay. What all is in that mix?
All right, I can hear you again.
Oh, good. I was wondering what all do you have in that mix? That was.
Yeah, so this one, there's a little tomato in here.
Hmm.
I've got some cumin, oregano, garlic, paprika, little chili flakes. That's the thing. You can buy these taco seasoning mixes ready to go.
Hmm.
This one that we happen to like this one. That's about it.
Hmm.
That's why I have that here. So now this this is just simply, you know, bringing all the flavors together. It's all that has to happen on this.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't want really big pieces, you break them down just a little bit more. But I like to have some chunkier pieces in there. I like the texture of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
We
going
had.
to shift back over to our pasta real quick.
Okay. I've got a. If we can ask a quick question on the tomatoes. Somebody wondered, are they canned tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, tomato paste? What type of tomato is in that?
So I'm going to look at you on this one. You know,
Okay.
what kind of tomatoes? That's entirely up to the individual. That is a canned tomato product. It's
Hmm.
a nice puree. If you have fresh tomatoes, you want to chop them up and put them in. I'm in the Northeast. There are no fresh tomatoes. Not any that I'd want to eat anyhow.
Yeah.
So you put that. You can use that. You can use ready mixed pastas. Tomato taco mixes. You can use that's a fine puree. You can use crushed tomatoes. Whatever. Don't get hung up on that. A lot of times it depends on what's in the cabinet.
Very true. Yes. Which is the whole point of our pantry project is to use what you've got because it's right now you can't just run to the store for one ingredient like you might have done a couple months ago. I know sometimes we have on hand just in case. I know Chi Chi's has a couple good pre-mixed seasoning packets that you can just throw in, or they've got some like. Do you ever do like canned or diced chilies, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, all of those can fit into this. You could take those chilies and put them. I'm gonna shift over. That pasta is good, man.
Got it.
That pasta is really really good. I'm gonna go off screen just a minute. I want to drain that, and then I'll be right back.
Sounds good. So Ron, I've got a question. If you can still hear me, you mentioned
Yeah.
good cookware, and we've got an older pot. It's a non-stick one, and it's starting to get a little flaky, so we know it's time to retire it. What would you recommend? I know we've got a couple copper bottom things that are we can't do on high heat. It said. So what should we look for some of the like basic cookware if we need to upgrade?
All right. Can you see this thing?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here you go. This one, it doesn't matter the brand on this.
Okay.
Um, a bunch of mine say, I'll show you. A whole lot of mine say CIA on it.
Oh, right.
All right, and because while I was working there, we designed these.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is also a really good example. So what do you have? Stainless steel, inside, outside. Riveted on, that way you know it's going to hold sturdy. You see the thick base here?
Mm-hmm.
It's flat, It's thick. It's a great heat conductor. That's
Okay.
the important thing on these. This kind of base is a really, really good heat conductor. What they have in there, I wouldn't know on this one.
Hmm.
I know that this one is 7-ply, and the middle ply is copper.
Okay.
Superconductor. It's
Hmm.
coated on both sides with heavy gauge aluminum. Good heat distribution. So those are the kinds of things to think about and look at. Now, if I didn't have this, cast iron is amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's,
Pans are great to use.
yeah, that's our
So,
go-to
so
typically.
cast iron's not overly expensive, which is a good thing, and you can use that to your advantage. So I got a little. I'm gonna have an afternoon snack.
Ooh. I think I'm
All
gonna need
right.
one after this. This is too good to watch it
I'm
and
gonna
not have anything to eat. I should have prepped my own tacos ahead of time.
now. I like to put my cheese directly on the hot meat so that it melts. Medium
Nice.
salsa. I like to put that directly on the meat as well because I think it starts to build into there, and you get a little bit of
Okay.
fresh lettuce on there. You know, the lettuce, the tomato, they give you this great bright flavor to this, and
Mm,
right there, real simple. Here's the thing. You saw how fast that
beautiful.
went that went together. That whoa, that meat cooked really, really quick. And this whole that kind of food just makes the
Yeah,
day. I
that's sometimes.
think I got all of. Go ahead.
Oh no, I said sometimes tacos sound like they're going to take a long time, so I don't end up doing it unless I think I've got extra time. But yeah, if breaking up the meat and getting it to cook fast like that, that's a game changer for me.
And the other part of it is you're going to get great caramelization. It's going to taste even that much better, and you're going to be that much happier with it. And you're going to be the culinary hero of the day.
I'm planning on it. So I
Yeah.
actually had a consumer contact us earlier this week, and they were talking about how they're doing meal prep, and so they wanted to know, like with ground meat when they cook it, how much weight, like if they weigh it before they cook it versus after it, how much is that going to change typically? Oh wow,
Well,
those look,
they're fun.
yeah.
You know, basic, simple, great food. That's what you're really looking for.
Hmm.
Going back to that question about the it's basically what we would call what the yield is.
Hmm.
Naturally, the longer you cook the meat, the more moisture you're going to pull out of it. Means you
Hmm.
won't have as much. If it has more fat in it, you're going to lose the fat that much. If a lot of times you're looking at 20% yield, you might lose 15 to 20% in fat and moisture. You got to keep that in mind as well. Your
Okay.
pound's not always going to be a pound at the end. This turkey is beautiful, clean turkey. So the Genio turkey, it doesn't have lots of fat, so you're not losing that. Um,
Hmm. Sorry, Ron. I don't know if anyone else is getting this, but I've got a little bit of lag, and I can't hear you at the moment. Can you hear me at all? Let's see. I'll check in with the tech team. Can't hear anything. Me either. Can't hear. Shoot. But we are up on the time. It's 1:30. So we did good. I feel like we learned a lot of stuff. We saw some beautiful tacos. And yes, thank you very much, Ron. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us on Pantry Project Live today. It was great to see you, and we will talk with you again soon. Thank you, everybody who tuned in, and yeah, we'll keep an eye out. If you've got any questions for Ron, we can get in touch with him and follow up. And have a great afternoon. Bye.